A long list, Diana. As a matter of fact, these Judicial Tenure Commission charges, complaint number 88, essentially have been in the making for about a year or so. They have been looking back at years of just how Judge Sylvia James has been running her court. They have lots of questions, and some of the allegations were spelled out on the stand today. Judge Sylvia James spent much of the day's administrative hearing watching, listening, sending notes to her defense team, trying to refute some of the mountain of documented evidence presented by the Judicial Tenure Commission in this case. Some 2,000 pages, in fact, presented in 3 large binders to the special master, or judge, this morning. Much of the testimony from State Court Administrator Deb Green was about a controversial community service program that James created some years back. It was to collect money from people who were sentenced to do work rather than spend time in jail. For years, the bank accounts in that particular community group was handled by the city, but Judge James took control of the bank account for that program and the money collected in fines and fees some years back. And to the state's surprise, the administrator said, James was writing checks to organizations that neither the city nor the state knew anything about, and only an audit revealed what was going on.
I mean, that's when I really understood how this account was standing alone, unaudited, unbudgeted, unsupervised.
When you say unsupervised, what do you mean?
There weren't any checks and balances on it. I mean, it was basically the judge and the court administrator were the only ones that signed the checks, and they were the only ones that touched the account at all. It hadn't been reconciled, it hadn't been reported to anyone.
What the community service funds were spent on was clearly, Green said, against the rules.
Absolutely should not be happening.
Educational organizations?
No.
Goodfellows?
No.
How about using those funds to travel? For the judge to travel?
No.
Court staff to travel?
No.
Travel to conferences?
No. I mean, that's not the purpose of the work program. Oversight fees are supposed to pay for the work program.
Dozens of checks, thousands of dollars, all written from that account by Judge James. And apparently the major problem with all of this is that no one knew what she was doing. And when city administrators wanted to know how that account was being handled and why they weren't being paid on time, they could never get an answer. That is, until this investigation got underway and state authorities essentially moved in. A lot more to this case coming up. Tomorrow, as many as 30 witnesses will be on the stand against her going forward.